Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. We're back. It's that time of the week again. Um, so before we get into it, Meg, how are you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you. I'm getting
That's
settled after the move, so everyone's gonna notice background's a little different. Not fully complete,
that's
but
right. You're in your
work in
new office. You're in
progress.
your new
Yes,
office. That's so sick, bro. Um,
yes.
but today we have a very special stream. Two for one stream actually. After we're done playing this first game, we're gonna play Grand Theft Auto after that. But we're not worried about that right now. Right now
No,
we're
no, it's the last.
playing.
It's
Okay.
it's the last thing on my mind.
um, right now we are going to play a brand new game. It is a game that no one has ever seen before in their lives ever, except for a select few. But this is a game. Oh, hello, Winger 52. Ayo, welcome to the stream. Um, but this is a game. It's called Alone in a Room. It is a game made by the dude that just popped up in chat. His name is ALUCARD. He made this game. He made it in RPG Maker. Uh, him and I worked together along with Opus, so like we are very excited to try this out. And we have Alucard with us. Hello, Alucard.
Heyo.
Yo, that's Alucard. He made the game. Alucard, go ahead. Introduce yourself. Say what you want to all the millions of viewers.
Um, Aside from don't drag me through the rocks too hard, so this game honestly was kind of a struggle bus for a wee bit here.
Yeah.
Um, just because I went through so many rewrites on the story, I think I have like 4 or 5 different endings that ended up on just the floor, basically, just
Mm-hmm.
from constant rewriting. I even decided at one point to scrap the entire project and start
Oh
over.
dang.
And that's whenever I told you at work that I had 10 days left. I rebuilt everything, and what you're about to play was done in 10 days.
Oh my god,
Dang.
a game jam level
I was about to
of
say.
yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
very impressive.
It was a lot easier to go through that time around, only because I already had like a pretty good foundation of knowledge from messing around with the engine enough
Mm-hmm.
that by the time I sat down and said this just needs reworked, um, it was just so much easier to sit there and just okay, create this event now. How do I want this switch to work? And then
Mm-hmm.
just kind of keep spiraling from there. And honestly, I was pretty proud of the fact that the only thing that I noticed that slipped through was a spelling mistake that I had made
Mm-hmm.
about halfway through the game, and that's what was submitted to the people who were actually doing my grade for it.
Right.
And so I was pretty happy with that being the only thing that I regretted because I was like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
after an entire rework in 10 days, like
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
nothing to scoff at.
Right. Yeah.
Are
I'm.
we? So we're gonna. I'm gonna. Were we gonna have to find the? We're gonna find the
Whoops.
spelling mistake. Is it still in there?
No, I
No.
actually went through and tweaked all that out.
Yeah.
I went through, and if there's any other ones though, they're going to be found live now. So,
Nice. I can't wait to just tear apart your game.
Putting my English degree to work.
Yeah.
oh, don't worry, your English degree will come in very much handy here because I can
Really?
guarantee you that there's going to be lots and lots of grammatical error. But just roll with it.
I'm in.
Honestly more sold than I was before.
But yeah. So I have questions for you about your game, but I'm going to save them until after we finish, and then we can just kind of talk about it from there.
Alrighty, I can live with that.
Cool. Um, well, do we just want to hop into it? Do we want to try it out? I've been itching to try this game for
I've been
months
looking
now,
for it.
man.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys here. So this is your show. This is like how you guys want to handle it. So I'm gonna just follow the lead here.
I do have one thing to say before we start, and that when I was telling Meg about this,
Oh my god, I was gonna say it if you weren't. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So I remember I was telling Meg, I was like, my friend has this game, like we should play it on stream next, and she was like, okay, yeah, cool, like, and so I was like, man, like, I thought I'd get like a better reaction than that, but, but, she asked me, she was like, so, is it on Steam or something? Or like, how do we get it? And I'm like, oh, he's got to send it to me. And then I can open it from there. And she was like, oh, it's his game? And I was like, yeah, like he made it. And she was like, oh, that changes everything.
And then I had an appropriate excited freak out
yeah.
about it.
And
but,
then
yeah.
she got excited.
Yeah, Caleb was like, oh, yeah, he just finished it, and it was made in RPG Maker, and blah, blah, and it was like nothing in there actually said the game he made.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, he just finished it, and he recommended it to you. He was like, oh, this is a cool
Yeah,
game.
she thought
and
it was just a
I
game
can't
that...
find it anywhere. I'm like looking, I'm like Googling it. I can't find it anywhere. And then, yeah. So, yeah, sorry about that. Now I'm properly excited.
Yeah, now you know. Now you can be excited.
Yeah,
Cool.
yes.
But, yeah, I'm pretty excited. It shouldn't, I don't think it's like it's not like a long game. I think it's only like 15-20 minutes, you said, ALUCARD?
Yeah, it's definitely a micro. I cut out a lot of what I consider to be filler.
Mhm.
A lot, like whenever I've had other people like here at home play testing it, on average it was like lasting about like 20 minutes, give or take. So I don't expect it to take you too long. Just depends on if you get stuck anywhere.
Cool. I probably will.
I was just going to say we're definitely getting stuck somewhere. If anyone is returning viewers, oh, actually, this is important. If anyone is returning viewers, don't worry. Caleb is the one playing this game.
I'm playing.
So we will. I don't know how many times we'll die, but it
Yeah.
won't be nearly as many.
It will
as if I
be
played.
because of Meg, though.
Yeah, I'll be like, go that way.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be fine.
Clearly, everything's like pointing not to go that way.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
One thing I will tell you is I definitely did put some things in there that if you interact too much, the interaction changes. So I will give you that heads up.
Oh,
Okay, so we're clicking on things multiple times.
shit.
Listen,
I'm
I'm
doing
going.
lots of
We're gonna
clicks.
go for 100%. I think of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're clicking on every little item. 50
Yeah.
times.
I'm clicking every panel on the wall. I'm stopping at
The
every single
yes.
tile on the floor.
The people are here for the action.
Yeah.
We bring it.
I see that. See Opus is in the chat. Sup Opus, welcome.
Yes. Hello, Opus.
But okay, do we want to start?
Yes, you're gonna. Yeah, you're gonna share it, right? I'm.
Oh,
way too excited. I'm like,
I forgot to
yes,
share.
that's supposed to get pictures. Yeah, you have to share your
Whoops.
screen.
Okay, hold on. Okay, poop. Okay, hold on. Everyone chill. Okay, let's relax. I'm going to.
Yeah, Daniel says, okay, so click on everything all the time. Yes, that is the play style we are doing.
Okay.
Bam,
Oops, stuff's gonna be a little weird for a second. Do that one. Do that one. Okay. Should be normal again. You can see it. Can you see it, Megan?
I gotta click watch stream.
Alright.
Oh my god, I can see it. I'm so excited. I love the opening artwork already. Oh my god.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get off this menu. Let me get the music up. Let me get it on screen. Boom. Alright.
Yes, there we go.
Alright.
You might want to turn the game sound up a little bit more, only because it is always harder to hear on stream.
I think it's up pretty decently. Can everyone hear it okay?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What was that
What's
burp?
it sound like?
Did you guys hear my burp? What would you
Yeah.
rate it?
6.
So sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for new viewers, we are gonna eventually get an overlay for a burp meter.
Yeah.
To rate our burp.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 10-year. It's a 10-year plan.
Nate, remind me what the controls are.
Okay, so arrow keys are going to be movement. Space bar is going to be your interact key.
Spacebar. Got it. Okay. Um, okay. Winger said it sounds a little quiet, but it's good. It is like. Okay, cool. It is like pretty loud in my ears, so I'm glad I don't have to turn it up.
It's quiet in mine. Maybe I should.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay. All right. We ready to start?
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
so
do it.
excited.
Me too. All right, let me get my mouse off the screen, and we'll just use my. All right,
Oh,
Meg, you read
are we
hers.
voice acting? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh crap! Sorry, I accidentally pressed the space bar.
Caleb.
It said Grayson something. All right,
Grayson.
I'll be right there. Off to a great start already.
Wait, kids.
Sorry, my finger was just resting on it. I'm sorry.
I think I hate you. Off the channel. You're off the channel.
I'm not doing a great job with this stream so far. Okay. Okay. It won't budge. I can't get out. Something is blocking the door.
Please, I need you.
Hold on, Ash. I'm coming. I need to find a way to get this open. Alright. Ooh! Look, I'm in! I'm in! Look at me go!
Oh, I mean, I hope this isn't, it's so cute. It's so cute.
I'm clicking. So many books. I never was a huge fan. I never could find the time. Ashton, however, quite the opposite.
I'm Ashton.
It's Ashton and myself. From the night we got married, she was so beautiful, I could barely move or speak. That sounded like it came from the door. What's this? Now isn't the time for phone calls. You're so right,
Try
buddy.
again, try again.
Clothes and shoes, so many shoes. You're right, you're right, you're right.
Try the phone again. Okay. I really want him to break, I really want him to yell at us. For being annoying.
Alright, I think we're good. Alright, let's go. Oh. Huh? Nothing is here. What could have stopped the door then? It wasn't locked. I have to say... I'm almost at the stairs, Ash. I'll be right there. I have to say, I was already telling ALUCARD about this. But this upstairs model right here, it looks exactly like my first house I lived in, like the upstairs, like
Really?
it like almost exactly. Obviously not like just the design, really, not like the wood or anything, but
Right.
remind me of my old home. Anyway,
Oh.
no
Well, I hope
response.
something spooky doesn't happen in it.
Yeah, no response. That's not like her. I need to get downstairs now. Locked. Damn it, I'm so sick of these things getting in my way. I'm not walking through webs infested with black widows. I need to find something to clear this up.
Can you interact with the clock?
Good question. Almost 3:30 a.m. Dang.
Ooh, the witching hour.
The witching hour.
Something is afoot.
Okay.
Oh!
The spray and machete should be in here somewhere.
Okay, in this new house, I'm getting a
Yeah.
machete, and I'm putting it in a storage closet.
Empty box. I really need to take this out before the next pickup day. More shoes. Why do we have so many shoes?
Okay, so I feel like they
Halloween.
just moved in recently.
That's what I'm thinking. Our old nightstand, when we lived at our last house. Ash is upset that I still haven't found a good place for it. Where is it? Aha, gotcha. I'm so glad we didn't toss this during the move. Now to clear those spiders and webs. I have what I need from you already. Are you sure? Okay, we're sure. Fine.
This is exactly how I wanted to go. If I miss something, I'm gonna be so sad.
Yeah. Alright, let's take care of this issue.
I'm sure it's gonna be interact, but God, I hope there's an attack button.
Here, now I can get through without being bitten. Yay!
Aw.
What's this? What's this? What's this? What's it? Ooh! Locked? Hello? Who? Where? How? Who the hell are you, and how did you get in my house? All you.
Okay. Who I am matters not. Oh, I hate that voice. I'm not gonna, okay. Who I am matters not, but I cannot allow you to pass in this state. You must face reality.
What I know to be real is that you are trespassing. I will call the authorities and have you charged.
As if that matters to me. They will only find you in this house and deem you to be a fool.
Whoa. Fool this. Ksa! The blade. It passed through you. Just how is...
You must surrender that what... Sorry. You must surrender that what once was, for now what is. Only then may you pass.
Shit. What does that even mean?
That is for you to discover.
I must say, this is just like ALUCARD. He is always being so vague and mysterious. Like every day at work.
every day at work, just skulking in the corner.
Yeah.
How are you today? He's like, I don't know. That's for you to discover.
Just another day. Before the eternal bliss.
Okay. So this character said we have to accept what is past in order to move forward. I'm guessing the bedroom, but let's try.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, never mind. No, yeah, I spoke. I spoke too soon.
Pretty sick setup. What do we got
Check
here?
the chat real quick.
I will keep clicking Winger 52.
Yes, keep clicking.
What's this poster? I can't look at this right now. Why not? Look at it.
Does that look like?
Look
like
at
even
it.
Missing, like, or wanted? Is that a wanted poster?
That's kind of what my
Can't tell.
mind was telling me too.
Yeah, it looks like a wanted.
She always filled the house with music. She would dance for hours. All night if you let her. Adorable. Let her dance. She loved nature. She wanted plants in every room.
So obviously, this is past tense. But we didn't talk about Ash past tense before. So I don't know if this is something.
We used to watch movies here all the time together.
Wait,
Used to.
but they just moved to this house.
I don't know, Meg. Seems
Is
fishy.
this a? Yes. I'm clocking it.
Clock it. Ashton's
2 o'clock.
necklace. I get 3:30 a.m. I gave this to her on our first anniversary. Oh. Happy anniversary, my love.
Flashback. Oh, Grayson, it's so beautiful. I adore it. I just made her sound so lame. I adore it.
Not as much as I adore you. You deserve the best and only the best. Here, let me help you put it on. Absolutely stunning.
I'll never take it off. I love you so much.
I love you too, Ash. I'll always be there for you. Flashback? Yep.
In the new house?
That feels so long ago. What once was. This must be it. We used to watch movies here all the time.
If you don't click on everything else in this room. I kind of want you to go back and look at, see if anything's changed.
Alright, let's go back. We're going back. See if anything changed in here.
you sure?
What? Empty box? Empty box? Shoes? So many goddamn shoes. Ash and her shoes, I mean, it really was a problem.
God, I don't even miss her. Too many shoes.
Too many shoes, Ash, that's what they used to call her. Now is not the time for phone calls. What about plans? There must be time for plans.
Ash did want a lot of plants around.
She loved nature. Nothing on the bed.
Can we just go back to sleeping?
Yeah, let's just forget it all happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, buddy. Clearly you got something to say.
I was really jealous of the necklace. He's just a thief. He's just a regular thief.
I have what you were looking for. Why do you want this?
It's not for me, but for
Where are you going?
you. Away! I can't believe you sometimes. I do not want to see you right now. I'm going to stay with my family tonight.
Babe, wait. Babe, wait.
No! No! Don't even try to stop me.
Ash, can't we
No, not right now. Get away from me. Oh,
Your necklace.
you broke it, just like you did the promise you made to me 5 years ago.
Ash,
Did
no.
he grab her? Is that why the necklace broke?
He must have.
Mm.
Ash, wait.
I'll be back when I can look at you.
Oh, dang. Ash, no.
It's because we didn't find a place for the nightstand.
Because we didn't have enough shoes.
Next to the bed, bro.
I never was able to apologize.
Now you understand and may pass.
Alright, downstairs. Whoa. What the?
Oh my god, this looks amazing. This
Where the
looks
hell
awesome.
am I? How did I even get here?
There's a cat.
Kitty kitty?
Go pet it, go pet it, go pet it right away.
Who are you, little fella? Ash would have loved you. She would have already named you and moved you in with us if she had met you. Pervert.
I can't do that.
Do you know where we are right now? I'm losing my mind. I'm talking to an animal, as if it can actually answer me.
Oh, please answer.
I need to find a way through here. This has to be a trick of that hooded figure. Purr.
Oh, and okay. We were told we get one save.
There was one save. There it is.
Did you
Alright.
Did you do it? Did you save?
I saved it, I think.
Okay.
Hey, kitty. Oh, that's how you save.
Oh.
Let's go.
I know. I
That's
was like,
so
it's gonna be
sick.
a
Okay.
typewriter. Are we going like old school Resident Evil? Like, what is a cat?
Whoop.
And I'm so happy.
Oh. ALUCARD, I found a glitch.
Click, 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 click.
Click, 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 click. Ah, well. I'm a tree man now.
I'm a tree man.
Whoa, who are you?
Oh my god.
Ash? Ooh.
Goth Ash. Oh my god. Why didn't you save me, Grayson?
I don't
This is all your fault.
know. The goth Ash, please.
Goth Ash.
Oh,
Haha.
she just blew my ass up.
We died immediately. We died immediately. New game, no kidding.
Son of a bitch. Alright.
Alright. Oh, Alucard, did you put the death prediction in the chat?
Yeah, he said that I would die 5 times and then 37.
Can you say that again? For some reason you broke. Oh, 5. Okay.
5, and then he said 37.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Alright, let's try that again, everybody.
Okay. Do not talk to Goth Ash.
I'm doing
Bad
this.
news. Right.
Stay away from Goth Ash.
She may be really hot, but she's bad news. Gotta find a different goth girlfriend.
We love Goth Ash, but God, is she toxic.
Always blowing us up and touching them.
Alright, go.
Go, 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 go.
Goth Ash, Goth Ash. Goth Ash, no. Stay away, Goth Ash. Damn, I can't do something or whatever.
I can't do something, but I can't stop.
Where we first met, I was walking to work and was running late, so I cut through the flower garden on the way where I ran into her. I stopped when she looked at me. She smiled and waved. I could only think of how beautiful she was, sitting there on the stump. I called into work just to sit and talk with her. Hours went by so quickly that day. I was surprised she let me have her number. I was such a mess that day and still was so kind to me. And she still was so kind to me.
Can you interact with the plants?
Ash.
Ash loved plants.
Ash did love plants. Ash.
I know, I want to be able to get Ash!
Ash. You should have seen Goth Ash.
I think we have to go a different way, but I'm honestly scared to leave the same
I know,
team.
same here.
Okay.
Hello? Goth
What
Ash?
is the oh shit! Oh no!
Goth Ash, Goth Ash, Goth
No, run, no! You're like a bat out of hell.
I didn't think she'd pop up like that.
she just sort of popped up. Alright, here we go. Why didn't you save me, Grayson? You can skip
Please.
it if you want. I'll do it.
Please, Goth Ash, step on me.
Oh, she did. Oh, she did, yeah. Okay.
Alright,
When
there's
you
two.
Restart. When you restart, I do think we should go back over and still interact with the first place we met.
Yeah,
Because I don't
yeah.
like. Is it?
I'm gonna. Thank you. Okay. Well,
Oh my god.
let's
The
try
music
again.
is good.
It is. I know. I love it.
I love it too.
Okay. Wish me luck, Mr. Kitty.
Go,
Oh no, Goth Ash, please.
Oh my god, last time she got stuck and she didn't. Okay. She's not
Yeah.
stuck. Wait a minute, this is different. Holy shit, we're fucked. We've cornered her. Oh no. She's just waiting for the obligatory dialogue box to go away.
Goth Ash, please. Not while Ash is here.
Grayson is so. I know, seriously. Ash, you want to do anything about this? Ash?
Oh.
Go,
Goth
go,
Ash,
go.
Goth
But,
Ash, Goth
I
Ash.
kind of want you to go past the gate this time, but go. Go, right.
Oh, that's something. Oh my god.
And I can be like,
Oh, I'm so startled.
oh my god, let's
Okay.
just no.
Goth Ash, please.
God, that's not now.
Yeah, no.
We're reminiscing.
Our first date, I took her to see a live showing of Little Shop of Horrors. She told me how much she loved it when the whole ride. She told me how much she loved it the whole ride back to her apartment. Her smile and laughter was so radiant and contagious.
Totally tell. She's freaking. Go. We are not safe here. Like, that's
Nope.
what I'm learning.
Go.
She's gonna pop up. Is there multiple Goth Ashes? Actually, there are multiple Goth Ashes. I was kidding. No. Oh my god. I think if you circle back around. Okay. I'm wondering if
Oh,
there
wait.
are only certain times they work, or if you just do them twice if they'll work. But this one was first tries. It might. Oh shit.
What's this?
This is what happened when she ran away.
The crash site where they found her. They found her car in the ditch by the road. She swerved in the rain to avoid a collision with another driver. The report said it happened not even 20 minutes after she left the house. Oh. Ash.
Ash,
It should have been me. She didn't deserve that.
oh, go. Okay, yeah, maybe.
God, Ash, please.
Can you go up further and like to the right and maybe like sort of lose the AI? Can you not go forward, upward anymore? Okay. No. No. Oh, we're so
No.
screwed. No.
God, Ash, please leave me alone.
God, Ash, you're so clingy. You're so clingy.
Okay. I might just have to die.
I wonder if you throw her like a Jack Skellington like shirt the other direction.
Yeah.
If her goth ass will go for it.
Hot topic. It's open. It just opened.
You're gonna have to die, my guy. Does this count? Does this count?
This can't count. This is crazy.
No.
Go. God, Ash,
No.
please.
I'm honestly nervous. Can you? And there's no way to deviate off the path into the grass or anything, right? To, like, can't juke her.
God, Ash, please.
I just thought of something sick. You know, in Twilight when he's like, "How you liking the rain, girl?"
What?
Okay, no, you don't know that.
I've seen all the Twilight movies once, and it was probably over 10 years ago.
I was gonna recommend we just, you know, if we mock the trauma, does she leave? Like,
Haha. Car crash.
uh-huh.
Oh, it worked!
Oh my god, it was supposed to happen. Alright, no wasted time. This speedrun is still happening.
Go, 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 go. Oh my god.
Okay, so always assume we're gonna die, but maybe we won't.
Oh no. Final boss. God, Ash.
Oh,
This isn't right. You aren't right. Why are you here?
isn't it obvious? You're the reason I left. You're the reason I drove away that night. You are why I'm dead.
What? No, Gothash, it's not like that. No, that's not true. That's not how it all happened. You wanted space. You left home despite my attempts to stop you. It wasn't me.
Why did I leave, dear? For fun? Oh, no, no, no. I left because you stopped caring.
That's not true, Gothash.
God,
Don't
these
you
are
say
so
that.
Lies.
I never stopped caring about you. I may have gotten wrapped up in my work, but that never stopped me from loving you.
Then why did you keep treating me like I was your second option? Like I was a burden to you? Why did you forget our anniversary and leave me all by myself?
Oh. I was trying to make a life for us. I wanted to make sure we could be supported in our old age so we could travel, see the world together. I didn't mean to forget. I was just trying to take care of you, of us.
Oh, Grayson. Well, in doing so, you made me feel alone, unwanted, unloved.
Ooh. That was never my intent. My intent was for us to have anything and everything. Don't you remember what I said when I gave you this?
The necklace. Of course I remember. You said I deserve...
The best. That's all I wanted for you. I'm sorry my work made you feel like I cast you aside. That's far from the truth. You, Ash, you were the best thing for me. All I cared about was giving you the best as well.
You were the best thing for me. I didn't care if we were poor, rich, on the streets, starving, or anything. I just wanted you.
I only wanted you too. I just wanted to have the best life you could.
Even though it was cut short, I did, darling. Oh, real change in tone, Goth Ash.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh, sorry. Despite how it all worked out, I would do it all again with you.
I
We're
would
at her
too.
grave.
I know. I just wish you weren't gone, so I didn't have to walk the rest of my days without you.
Ugh. You won't walk them without me. I'll still be right there beside you, my love.
You got something to say?
In your periffs, right behind you.
In your periffs.
In the mirror when you look away. In all the ways you'd want your loved one to be there.
And yes, I will be goth. And yes, I will be goth. I guess even in death, you still are madly obsessed with me. Haha.
Oh, shut up. Oh, shut the fuck up, Grace. Last I checked, you were the one who said I love you first, idiot. Okay, I'm sorry.
What's not to love? You're perfect.
I know. Don't forget me, Grayson.
I could never. You may be gone, but somehow it feels just like you're still here with me. It feels like it all happened so recently, but it's been a year already. I got that promotion I was working for. I went to your favorite restaurant to celebrate. I even ordered that wine you love that I can't stand. I may not know what's next, but it doesn't seem so scary to me anymore. I can finally smile again. I couldn't have made it this far without your help. Thank you, Ash. Walked right through her.
Oh, damn, just like you did in life when you didn't appreciate her.
Wow. Well, it's time for me to head out. When I get back, I'm going to turn on your favorite movie and relax. Happy anniversary, Ash.
Happy anniversary, Grayson. I'm so proud of you, and I love you.
All I needed was the last thing I wanted. To sit.
Alone in a room. Okay. Okay. Don't think we're done here, Caleb. We didn't get any different interactions. We didn't check out all of the path in the woods. We're doing this.
That's
Okay.
fair. That's fair. Alright, okay.
Can we continue where we left off?
I wonder if we can go back to the house?
Ooh. We didn't try the coward's way out.
Yeah. Alright.
Which is just nope out of there.
Alright.
Okay, so here's my thing. I wonder if you can go back to the house because I'm thinking about. I wonder if the interactions change with things when we're out in the forest. Like, do the.
Oh, I can't go back.
Darn it. Okay.
Alright, is there anything else I can click on? I wonder if it's like the moments of like memories in the forest.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's some of the more frequent interactions that we have out here that you can choose from.
ALUCARD, hop back in this call. Let's give us some tips on what to.
Maybe you can give us a little walkthrough on finding all the secrets we missed. That'd be fun.
So, is there anything we missed in the house? Because the rest of the game is here. Oh.
So you did.
New game.
Of everything that's here, you missed one thing.
So there's only one thing that we missed.
Correct, and it's something you only interacted with once. Technically twice, but once.
To title. New game.
Technically twice, but once, huh?
Jason, can you come in, please? I'll be right there. Please, sir, I need you now.
Sure as shit wasn't the Knights. Maybe it was the Knights.
Hold on, Ash, I'm coming. Alright, okay. Shoes.
You're getting colder.
Phone.
Okay, I don't know if we want to, Caleb, if you don't want to know, I know I want to make a call so bad. I don't know if you want to know this, but does the unique interaction happen as a result of us speaking with that figure, or is it just something we didn't interact with enough and doesn't matter on like whether or not we've spoken to that figure yet or not?
If you've hit the figure, you've gone too far, and it was something you didn't interact with enough times.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I
So-
will tell you, the interaction takes 3 clicks in total,
Okay.
Okay.
So
God, I want
it's got to
this.
be.
and you're warmer.
Okay. I bet I know what it is. I bet I know what it is.
Oh,
All
I bet I
okay.
know what it is too.
Okay,
Wait, what do
it's
you think
either,
it is?
It's either that. It's got to be this.
I think it's. Oh. Yeah.
Two webs infested by. To hell with this. There's no time to wait.
Oh shit! Did we get bit by a black widow and die? Yeah.
I don't feel so. I shouldn't have done that.
That was so worth it. Oh god, that was so worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we missed a death.
We did.
We were too pragmatic.
You got distracted by the clock.
I mean, it was 3:30
Yeah,
a.m.
we really
I had to.
did. I was like, the clock. That was my bad. I clicked it more times and I wasn't so excited.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let
Okay,
me-
what about did we miss anything in the forest?
No, everything else you guys hit. The only thing you didn't run into was just how many versions of Goth Ash you found. There was a total of, if I remember, 1, 2, 3, I think 6 or 7. And it's
Okay.
because there were certain points on the floor when you walk through them where it triggers the spawns, and you figured it out about halfway through. Well, actually, no, it had been like right at the end. What was causing them to disappear as opposed to causing that game over screen.
Mhm.
You had to find the appropriate memory tied to each version of Goth Ash.
Oh.
Okay.
And we found all the memories though.
Yeah,
Assuming. Okay.
yeah. You
Nice.
did successfully avoid the dead end. I will say that.
Oh, look at you, Caleb.
Wow.
In the very beginning, when you went up in the middle and to the right, if you would have kept going right, that is a dead end.
I gotta see.
And you know what's so funny, when we were loading back in before we bought ALUCARD back in, I was gonna be like, go to the right. We didn't explore the right enough. That was like
do it.
verbatim what I was
Let's do
gonna
it.
ask you to do.
We're going right. We're going right. Come on,
That's
God
right,
Ash.
I wanna die today,
Oh wait.
God
Oh, it
Dash.
just.
Oh, it's so soon.
Hi, God Ash.
Why didn't you say me, Grayson?
Blow me up.
Regrets. Blow me up,
Dude.
mommy.
I love how dramatic the explosion is.
It's so good. It
It's
almost
so
looks like
great.
runic, like rune-like.
It's funny you say that because the animation I used for that was actually from Fire Magic 2, if I remember
Okay.
correctly.
I don't think I've heard of that game.
No, like
I've
that.
never
That's
played it.
that's the animation tile that it's
Oh,
referred
that's
to as.
hilarious.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, I know what that is.
Like, oh yeah.
Okay, that was absolutely amazing.
First of all, let me say, Nate, amazing, great game.
Yes.
I didn't want it to end, honestly.
I know. Okay, when we were getting to the part where she changed back to regular Ash, I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I know. I was like,
they're wrapping
oh,
up.
this is probably the end.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was awesome. That was a great game. I'm very
Yes.
thank you for sharing it with us and
No,
for
like,
everyone
I-
to see.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the first time I've ever actually like submitted anything to anyone. Anything
Mhm.
else I've ever done has always been like super private. The closest thing
Mhm.
that even comes to anything like this has been writing like D&D campaigns, things like
Mhm.
that. And even those, there was no like recordings of it. All the, I guess, notes from it. The only thing that's still left from it, it's like my DM notes and everything. So this is the first time any of my work has technically been out there.
Nice.
So beyond that, I was going to mention that when you said that you found like a little glitch or anything, was it because you accidentally clicked the mouse?
I don't think so because I wasn't touching my mouse.
Okay. I was wondering because for some strange reason, built into the engine is whenever you click on a tile, your character tries to sprint there the shortest path it can take. And so,
Mm.
so that's why I didn't mention using the mouse at all for the game.
Gotcha.
So I was
you have
wondering if
to-
you...
Oh, sorry. Did you have to work around that when you were programming this? Like, did you have to implement something into the game to stop stop the player character from doing that, or is that just something that with the map you built didn't have to really worry about it?
So I didn't really worry about it with this map in particular because I figured if a player discovered it, that it'd be a fun little way for them to possibly cheese the interaction a little bit more. Cough, cough, speedrunners.
I want to cheese.
Yeah.
So um, beyond that, every other map actually has the dash off. So I left it alone there. Just because I figured if someone was willing to test it and willing to try it, then sure, let them have a leg up.
Yeah.
I originally had designed that map around her being in a sprint as opposed to matching player speed, so it was going to force you to use that dash. But I didn't like how it felt when trying to switch from the mouse to the keyboard and back, and it just didn't feel right pacing wise. So that was one of those things that I'd kind of dialed back her movement a little bit more, and instead to increase the challenge there, that's why there were so many copies of her, along with they were actually spawning closer and closer each time you hit one.
Yeah, that was obvious.
So-
Honestly, I really want to commend you on your ability to build tension with sort of, especially like after like the player has died several times. You know, in a lot of games, you can kind of lose some of the tension of being chased when you're like, oh my god, I've died. Like me in Outlast, you don't even want to. Maybe we'll stream it sometime. But like, I die freaking constantly in Outlast. It's one of my favorite games. But yeah, I think Caleb and I both felt the panic every time another one spawned, and that was very. I think that was that's very awesome that you were able to maintain that. I think it was probably in part due to your decisions around spawning and like how many there were, where they spawned, and I think the decisions made there were really, really good for tension.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. One thing I chose to also keep in there was I did originally have it set up to where upon triggering a memory, that is when the clone, well, I must just say they're clones, just like despawn. But I thought by leaving them there, so while you're going through dialogue, you can still see it in like the corner of the screen or right behind you waiting for that dialogue to end. So I felt like leaving those there would be kind of a nice little, I guess, panic mode engage moment.
It was awesome.
And then on top of that, I don't really know what possessed me to change the encounter because this wasn't it originally. Okay. Originally, this was just going to be a really large map with lots of looping ends and also warp points at each dead end that would take you to another random spot in the map. I thought about mixing the two together, but when doing so, I realized it was kind of taking some of the punch away from being chased, because then if you know, this exit here takes me back to start, now she's over here, I can just sprint this way instead, and it just kind of felt like it was deflating the encounter a little bit, and it's where I kind of chose to omit that, and then also kind of cut a lot of, I'm going to refer to it as bloating out of the game, just because there was points that I removed because it felt like, while yes, it was adding length to the game, it felt like it was artificial length being added. It felt like it was there just to extend the time you're playing, and it wasn't doing anything for the story, which, talking with, homie here at work a few times, that was something that I really wanted to focus on, was just the main story being given. And even when I was at work putting together, like, oh, what about this? Like, I gave him probably like 3 or 4 different like storylines.
Oh, okay.
And one presented here wasn't even one I ever suggested to him.
Yeah, no, because I remember you telling me that you had originally planned for her to, and it still kind of did, to accidentally be like killed by him, like accidentally like pushing her down the stairs, and then like trying to save her, grabbing her necklace, and that's the only thing you grabbed, and then she she died falling down the stairs. But I do like, it feels more natural knowing that she left and then she got into a car accident, and but also gonna say
it's a lot more. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
It adds a lot more moral ambiguity, I feel, and more like tragedy to the character, because obviously like with all these like he's just like coming to grips and coming to terms with like whether like his level of responsibility, if any, in this, and clearly like Goth Ash being like the sort of devil on his shoulder about like, you killed me, you killed her, kind of thing. And I think having the death have happened this way, the way that it did in the final product, I think it does allow us to sort of empathize so much more with the protagonist because it is so, I want to say morally ambiguous. I don't know, that's not exactly what I want to say, but yeah, it certainly adds some sort of complexity to blame and guilt and and sort of how you begin to even start to work through some of those feelings when you're so unsure about what your level of responsibility was.
Oh yeah, that's definitely kind of why I wanted to drive that part home.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because like I think we've all been in situations where we're like, that's my fault, and like we just can't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like having something like this level of tragedy happening, I feel like bringing that to the forefront is kind of like something that a lot of us don't think about. Like, what if this was the last time I ever interacted with someone? And just kind of having something like that happen, I really wanted to bring to light the idea that it's really easy to feel like that you caused that just because like when she mentions like you're the reason I left, that's the, as you said, like that's literally what's going on in his head.
Mm-hmm.
I made her essentially his personification of guilt, like you were kind of
Right.
touching on. And so I really wanted to, the whole game, each stage, I broke it apart into 5 stages because I made each thing represent a different thing from the, oh, come on, brain.
Stages
The
of
five
grief.
stage. Yes, thank you
Yeah.
so
Okay.
much.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry to stop you, but that was my first question
That
I have
just
written down is
real
if you stuck
really?
if you because he told me about it before and I was wondering if he still stuck with the plan of the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, walk us through that, Alucard,
Yeah,
because
please.
that's
So
fascinating.
Um, the first couple, you kind of, if you blink too fast and like you're trying to get through it, you really do miss it really easily.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when she's calling for him and she isn't there, that's because he's not accepting the fact that she's gone.
Mm.
And so he still hears those like echoes of those memories.
Mm-hmm.
And each memory is kind of what has to usher him forward. And then when we get through the door, if you notice, he spikes with his mental level of like how like emotionally unstable he's become, and
Mm.
even whenever like the spider death happens, for example, you can see that he makes like a bad decision out of anger because he's too
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the
impatient.
caps and yeah.
Exactly. And so even up until when he meets the hooded figure, he's still in that state because he tries to assault him, and so he's just very
Yeah,
hostile.
that caught. I'm so glad you brought that up. That was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was like, damn, you immediately tried to stab him.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
immediately. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
Sorry, go
so
ahead. That was, yeah.
you're totally good. So then we get into bargaining. That's where the necklace came into play, because it brings to light an item. And if you remember towards the end, which I'll bring it up there as well, that's the item that helps him move past the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so that when we get into the depression, that's the forest. It's really easy to paint depression as I'm sad, like uh, I'm just sitting here on the couch, like having a cigarette, like drinking, like that's usually the typical like media representation is like
Mm-hmm.
just staring into the abyss, just with whatever vice you choose. But for me personally, I feel like for me it's more or less not having a sense of direction and kind of feeling like every move is the wrong one, and then finding a reason to blame
Mm.
yourself. Hence why that felt like that was an appropriate time to start bringing in Goth Ash.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as he goes through that, one thing that is definitely more metaphoric here is in depression, there's another statistic that typically rises. And I think we all kind of know what that would be. And since Ash is not technically there, how does he actually pass on? So that was actually one big allegory for him
Mm.
succumbing to his own thoughts.
Okay. So even though at the end we sort of see this acceptance
Mm-hmm.
and a leaving of the room
Mm-hmm.
that they were in, um, okay, I'm sorry, I'm working through it in my head too.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
you're
that
good.
was essentially the acceptance in his case. Like it wasn't able to come without a price. Is that sort of like what we're getting at here?
So, um, I guess my question I have real quick is: are you talking about for the depression, or like afterwards when we're interacting with
I'm
normal
sorry, when
Ash?
we're interacting with normal Ash at the end when she's a
Okay,
ghost, and sort of we're at that like raider acceptance
Mm-hmm.
piece
exactly.
where she says her piece and goodbye and that she'll always be with him and all that the positive stuff that he was able to leave the room with.
Yeah. So once we get there, that's kind of where all that kind of starts like to really, I guess, tie together. And then that's where I'm going to mention the necklace again, just because that's like whenever I guess something like that happens, either there's a person or an item that typically like holds the most like value, whether it's a memory or like in this case the necklace. That is usually that is kind of what can sometimes pull people out in a way to where they like it makes them think differently, and that's kind of what I wanted to drive home with that. And so when we meet her and like he's having that conversation with her, um, Blake he's technically having this conversation in his own mind, but because
Mm-hmm.
obviously the forest isn't real. So, um, and well, that's why I chose to use like the gravesite there because that's where he has to have this because he blames how everything unfolded on himself, and he cannot accept that what happened until he gets essentially her side and gets her to forgive him, and that's what I think like I guess I really wanted to drive home in that last scene, just because with him, he's very irrational right now. And so the only person who would have calmed him down would have been her in this state. But she can't do that now. So he has to cling to the memory of pretty much what she was. And since he sees what he did in such a negative light, pushing her out the door essentially, now she's like warped. That memory is corrupt to him. And he had to focus on something better in order to, I guess, open up that next stage so that way the conversation he needed to have could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like putting it at the gravesite was going to be probably the most impactful for him because
Right.
he's there to quote unquote face his demon.
Got
Okay.
Ash.
Hmm. Hopefully that kind of answered it a little bit. So
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm seriously so fascinated.
That's
And
awesome.
I feel like because all of this is happening in his head. I'm sorry, Caleb. If you stop me,
No,
if I'm
please go ahead.
jumping on. Like I feel like because the conversations, obviously, all of these conversations that we're witnessing with Ash are in his head, right? Are a
Mhm.
product of his sort of process. So
Him working through his
that,
own
yeah.
grief.
So that being said, he I- the explanation, like you said, Alucard, of like getting her side of it. I mean, in reality, it's him processing through his level of culpability in their relationship problems, which was essentially like always it was of course like always lingering, but also the catalyst for the event, right? So I really I the more you talked about it, the more I was like, okay, well, there's another level of acceptance here happening of the actual relationship problems as opposed to just the event itself, the car accident itself, and how and his like sort of realization of how he was actually making her feel in those like months or year, however long that was going on for, leading up to it, where clearly, because like the first part of it's like, I did that for you, I did that, and it was a lot of like, no, I'm not wrong for that. Let me, I was doing that for you. And then we hear her side of it where it was kind of like, well, I would have been happy no matter what. And all of that now we understand obviously much better is happening in his head. So we've got like two levels of things that he has to work through and accept that he sort of has more insight on at the end of it. I feel, is that accurate?
absolutely. So the big thing with that was I wanted to pick something that was very easy and like a very common thing that really does come between people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a very common issue where one person's more focused on, whether it's their work or like maybe it's a hobby, and like the other person does kind of feel a little left out because maybe it's not something they enjoy, or they find themselves in the room and then they just kind of feel like they're just there, kind of like almost like a roommate situation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's really easy for people who are comfortable with each other to fall into something like that. And so that's why I really wanted to bring to the forefront, like, it wasn't something he was doing intentionally. I mean, technically he
Right.
was if you think about it, but um,
Yeah.
but it
Right.
was just a byproduct of something he thought because he was trying to focus on the big picture and he was so forward thinking but he wasn't taking the time to stop and assess like how is this impacting my home life with her. And the one of the things that really comes out is like the fact that he did forget about their anniversary. And in that first
Oh
flashback,
yeah.
hmm and then that first flashback, we see like this is something that like obviously he normally would remember. So the fact that he forgot that was just essentially that last straw that just kind of finally fell, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why she had that snap. As like I would expect anyone to, if like they're just going on about how they feel pushed aside because you're always so busy with your work or you're always so busy like with your friends, and then the one day that's supposed to be about their partner now became a normal day for that
Mm.
person.
Right. Caleb, do you have any? Do you have other? I really
I
want
do.
to know. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, my
Thank you though, Alucard, for all of that information. That
Mhm.
was yeah. This is
um
great.
my
Oh
next
yeah,
question
absolutely.
is, I guess, what made you want to make this like specific story? Were you just kind of like, were you just writing it and then kind of making it up as you go? Or did you make an outline and a plan like what each part was going to be? Or and like did anything, I guess, in your life influence what you did make?
So I definitely did have real life influence. As far as like any sort of, I guess, outline I had for it,
Mm-hmm.
I had what I wanted for an encounter, and I actually still have it in my notes on my phone. I have it literally outlined as depression encounter, forest, question mark, like things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
I did have like at least a general idea of what I wanted each thing to be. As far as what really drove this like this whole thing for me was just when I was younger, I actually went through a very like similar event to where I just went to bed one night, and I was about 13 at the time. I woke up the next day to an ambulance in my house, and my dad was rushed off to the hospital where he passed. So it was like no warning, just gone. And so at such a young age, it's really hard to really process any of that.
Right.
There was just like that mental flip. And so a lot of people don't really think about what's it like to lose someone like that so abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
And especially at a time when you wouldn't think you would lose them. In this case, being a husband and a wife, no one thinks that within the first couple years of their marriage that, their wife is going to get into a car accident and die.
Mm-hmm.
Like you expect to grow old with that person.
Right.
So that's really kind of where I guess that motivation came through,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's something I have lived through.
Right.
Um,
And
and
that.
then using that, that's kind of how I knew which elements to focus on the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, what happened was I flipped through those first few, I guess, like stages so quickly, and the hardest thing to move past was like that depression episode,
Yeah.
just because like it would be things like realizing like my dad's not going to see me graduate, my dad's not going to see me get married, my insert whatever here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the one thing that I remember just lasting the longest was just trying to move forward from that when it doesn't seem like there's a way to. And that's actually kind of what drove me into like games and stuff like that, because that's the one thing we did together all the time, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
tabletop, video, whatever. So that's kind of what really solidified like gaming as like such a hobby for me, because
Right.
that's also a way I kind of hold on to that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's got to be
Thank-
so tough as like a new teenager, like having to deal with all that.
Oh yeah,
And
it was crazy, honestly.
yeah.
It was one of those that honestly I didn't, no one plans that, so
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
really know where I was heading with it, and so it was just a lot of kind of figuring it out, and then by byproduct, my mother now had to start working a lot more,
Right.
which translated to me at home all the time,
Mm-hmm.
hence alone in a room.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That just hit a lot
Well,
harder.
It really, I know, I'm
Then
kind of taking a moment with that.
I feel bad joking about Goth Ash and wanting her to step on me.
Honestly, I kind of thought we were being awful. I was gonna.
No, I was laughing along with you guys and stuff like that because
Actually,
it's fun.
I did periodically check. I was like, are we crossing any lines?
Yeah.
No, because at the end of the day, games are meant to be played in the way the player wants to play them. And the best thing a dev can do is see how other people approach it. And on top of that, the way I approach a game like this, you're not going to. While I might sit here and have more of like a serious tone and like following along with whatever is being built here, your natural response to that might be make a joke because you don't like the tension. So like that's kind of like where I'm like, no, I like to see how other people handle this type of stuff, because then that tells me whether or not like I feel like I'm invoking a response or like any sort of feeling.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what I was watching for, was just like what type of thing am I feeling, like what am I seeing happening to the people playing, and a little fun little side shoot as well. Another thing that actually went into the, I guess, creation of this and kind of served as inspiration is actually an Asking Alexandria song. They actually have a song titled "Alone in a Room," and that's actually the last line of dialogue from the character. Is he's in the chorus? It says, "All I needed was the last thing I wanted, to be alone in a room."
Dang.
So.
Yeah, that's a double entendre happening here for sure.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I figured I came this far. I had to slip it in there somewhere because, like, I actually had that song kind of on loop as I was building some of these things.
Really?
Because, I forgot that you had shown me that for the game.
Yeah, and like it's just one of those songs that I feel it's highly emotional and impactful, and if you really dissect the words that are being spoken as well, it's one of those that I feel really play into it well. And so by having that back here, it was kind of keeping me in that same like mental state, and kind of helped me kind of tapping into what would I think if I was still alone in a room as a kid.
Well, it's a great fucking game. I feel like you really got your point across when putting yourself into the game. And like it turned out great. Like
it was clearly made with heart and intention.
Right. Oh yeah.
And thank you, genuinely thank you for sharing that story about your influence in your childhood. And I know, of course, Caleb and I are both genuinely so sorry for your loss. I know it's been a long time since then, but thank you for sharing that, and and thank you for putting sort of that heart into this game and letting us
putting
play
yourself
it and,
out there like so
goof
much
around with it.
It was awesome.
I mean, I definitely appreciate like you guys giving the game like, you know, a chance to kind of like see through like what it is like I can put together and stuff like that.
Of course, dude. Any game you make, I'm gonna play it.
Literally any game, and I'm like, and I'm like almost like kind of like, okay, come on, ALUCARD. It's been 5 minutes since we stopped the game. When is the next one?
Where's your next one?
Come on, like
that kind of leads into my next question, which is do you plan to add onto this game, make it a little longer, or like do you plan to like, I don't know, not necessarily like a sequel, but like another game that's like the same style or like same universe or anything? Like, do you plan to like, I don't know, just add more?
So that one's kind of like, there's two questions in there for me. So first off, it's would I use RPG Maker again? And the answer is absolutely. That's actually the first engine I've ever played with. It's actually the same engine responsible for getting me interested in any sort of game dev. Just because I remember
of you making your first game with it too.
Exactly, and that's actually why I chose to do, like, this was my final for my school project, and this is why I chose it, because I thought how cool would it be to have, because when I was younger, I used to watch all of these RPG Maker horror story games. Like, there was The Witch's House.
Oh
Crooked Man.
I did too. There was the what is the one with the mother and the father? What was like had father in the name? I just rewatched it. Yeah.
Oh, that voice crack. Anyway,
what was it called?
I want to say it was like The Mad Father.
Yes, I think you're
okay.
Right.
Okay.
That one's sick. You should definitely watch that, Caleb, if you're interested.
Okay.
In those kinds of things.
Yeah, like those had a
Yeah, I'm
really
down for
big
that.
inspiration to me. And
I
so
was gonna say something about it too. Yeah, when I like, I just didn't want to, but I didn't want to like cheapen sort of what you had made by bringing up another game immediately. It's just not cool.
no, you're totally good. That's definitely where a lot of that came from, and that's what made me go, I can make that, I could do that, and so it kind of felt like a really good way to kind of pay homage to both those creators and like my roots, just because that's the
Mhm.
first engine I ever touched, and it was the first engine that made me go, I want to do something like that.
Nice.
And so here it is, like almost 15 years later, and I've now like done something with it. And where that's kind of leaving me now is I do intend to come back to RPG Maker to make something. I don't know if it'll be a continuation of this story. I'm not sure if it'll
Mm-hmm.
be like something else in the same universe. Um, I'm not sure if I really feel like there's more to expand on Grayson's story without making it feel kind of like bloating
Right.
again. So if I did, it would probably be its own little separate thing, and I would probably keep it in the same format of like maybe being micro, maybe pushing
Yeah.
it more to the half hour, 1 hour content marker,
Mm.
just depending on what type of story I have, because I'm a firm believer in don't take your story farther or longer than the story needs to go. And that's actually kind of what's segueing me into my next project, which I'm thinking I'm going to be tackling with Unreal 5 this time around.
I
Nice.
was
And I'm
gonna ask
thinking,
what your next engine is.
yeah, I'm thinking about using Unreal 5. And I'm thinking about actually doing a Metroidvania. I'm thinking about doing just
That'd be
like a
awesome.
2D, like Metroidvania style game. I've already kind of got a few ideas for it. Um, I'm the basic idea I have so far is just I kind of want to make a vampiric themed one
I knew it.
where
I fucking knew it. I was gonna say
where
put vampires in it. Put vampires in it. Do
uh,
it.
the goal is to have the main character completely like kicked out from his clan essentially.
Mm.
And so that's the only thing I really know so far. And I'm still kind of playing with am I going to take this to he now has to learn to be on his own? Or is he now super mad about this and now he's taking it out on them? So I have a
Mm.
few different things I'm doing. It's in very early infancy for the concept because I don't want to touch anything officially until I actually have like a very weak
Mm-hmm.
outline of the game itself. Because otherwise, I feel like I'm just sitting it
Right.
there, putting code together for the sake of putting code together, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't feel like
You want to be into it.
forward momentum. Exactly. I
Yeah.
want to have the
Right.
same like drive. So,
So before we get into like what you plan to do next, I have one more question for you.
yes.
Um, and it's just that are you satisfied with your final product of this game?
I love that question.
I am actually very satisfied. My biggest
Nice.
concern was the length, but having more time with it, even after submitting it,
Mm-hmm.
um, I felt like it was appropriate for the story.
Yeah.
And as I've mentioned multiple times, like that is what I want to stand by the most. I want to stand by did this overstay its welcome? Too many
Mm-hmm.
times have I seen like a movie or a TV show where halfway through I'm like, okay, can we get to the next
Yeah.
plot beat
Right.
already?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I will like I said, just I will die on that hill. So is
Nice.
Not a
don't
fan
bloat
of The
your dream.
Simpsons, are you?
To be that's an entirely different thing.
Okay, I
You
was
said
checking.
don't even get me started on
Uh,
The Simpsons.
looking at you, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, so,
Okay, yeah.
but that being said, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with like where it sits now. I know it's not super long, it's not super flashy, but it wasn't meant to be. I feel like about halfway through, when I realized I was scrapping so much of my notes, I was like, I just have to let this story tell itself to me. And so as I'm
Mm.
going through it, writing these characters, because I didn't have a personality for Grayson, I didn't have a personality for Ashton. I just had this is what they look like, this is what happened between them.
Mm-hmm.
The way they spoke, I didn't know yet. The way they interacted with each other, I had no clue. But as I found myself typing out that dialogue, I felt myself kind of slipping into them more and more, and just kind of became, I guess, that catalyst for those two characters at once. And so that became super easy to start typing that dialogue back and forth. And so when we got into Goth Ash, it was okay. Now, what is the polar opposite of this? How would she speak to him?
Right.
And it made it so much easier now that I had something to reflect upon, and kind of give that mirror image.
That's such an interesting way of writing. I've never really thought about that, like trying to figure out a character, but then writing the opposite of that character and seeing how they react just to help
Yeah.
with the original character. That's so cool.
Uh,
What?
no, go ahead, Alucard. I'm not gonna. Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Oh
You're-
no, oh no, that was just me acknowledging him. I swear, there was nothing.
Oh. I'm like, I cannot talk over everybody.
Yeah.
Not today. Well, okay, two things that I just want to. I know we're wrapping up sort of this conversation about Alone in a Room, but two things. First of all, of something you kind of just said, where you're like, you kind of let the characters' personalities and like the story sort of start telling itself to you. I will say that is, I have some of my favorite authors. Is what they have said about their characters and those stories. So I think I just wanted to sort of point out that I absolutely loved this game, and I felt like the dialogue was so natural.
Yeah, that was one
so,
thing that
like-
I remember seeing, like even just from like the short like 20-second clip that you showed me, Alucard, before, like a couple days ago. I remember reading the dialogue and being like, God, that just feels like natural between like two people like that. Like it was really nice. 'Cause sometimes you watch stuff and you see how forced it is for them to like a group of friends and they're like giving each other shit, but like they're saying
when it's like definitely a 50-year-old guy writing teenage dialogue,
Right,
like that kind
right.
of thing. Yeah,
who's never had a
that
friend
was
in his life. Like
definitely exactly. That was definitely avoided.
Right.
With this game.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say, definitely did leave my brain. Shoot. Okay, if I remember it, I will say it. But it was about something you. I know, and it was something I've been holding on to for like 15 minutes.
You stupid asshole.
And I remembered it when I had said I had two things. It was still in my brain, so it just left 30 seconds ago after 15 full minutes. That's such a shame.
Do you remember like what it pertained to in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it was about Grayson. That doesn't narrow it down for me. Shoot, it was something sort of that you. Oh, thank you. I remember now.
Nice.
Because I've been thinking about it sort of as this has come up several times. I feel like in your sort of responses and your vision for this game as you were developing it, about your concern with bloat and like sort of dragging a story out for the sake of dragging it out rather than sort of letting it be condensed. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that and say that I think that you nailed the balance perfectly, and I've been really kind of like running through the ways in which you did that as we've been talking, since that clearly was such an important thing for you to achieve personally. And I'm thinking like, okay, we talked earlier about like your ability to create the tension with the spawning and that's like sort of like a physical game design, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, so sort of like had the story of Grayson and Ash been drawn out arbitrarily, like you were avoiding doing, it would have sort of removed that tension from the actual physical mapping of the game, the physical playing of the game with Goth Ash and everything, because sort of like we're coming in and out, we're losing our emotional touch with the characters, and so we're losing sort of like that tension, right? So like that would have definitely had a detrimental, in my opinion, would have had a detrimental effect on the tension you're trying to build, the like the tightness of sort of like the claustrophobia of like sort of both like the map and being with Goth Ash, but also like the conciseness with which the story was told. They sort of like hold hands, right? So one would have been the detriment of the other. And I feel like had there been, and you had said it's not very flashy, and like that stuck with me too, because I think had it been, let's go in the opposite direction, right? The story's not inflated, but the flashiness is, or the jump scares are, or the actual like chase scenes are longer or more convoluted in sort of like the actual physical mapping. Had that been done and the story sort of remained the same, you would have similarly like lost that tension, but also lost our connection to the story because we're being removed from it emotionally because we're so much more invested in the actual running around the maze, right? So I really think, and I think if you don't, if you think if I'm just gassing you up, I think we proved it sort of when the game ended and we were like, God, that tension was great.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because it stayed. And I think had you gone in either direction on that, like
more bloat in the story or more bloat in the mechanics, it would not have we would not have immediately sort of wanted to touch on that right away.
Yeah, that was something I was honestly really nervous about too, because it actually really. I was most nervous when you first talked to the hooded figure, because there's so much dialogue that's going to happen in those moments, and then you have flashback that leads back into another flashback, to, like not even a few minutes later, and I was really worried that by bringing those out, we're taking ourselves out of the current situation too long, and that's actually why I chose, because originally that was all one massive like thing, and I chose to split that up and put some more movement and dialogue between it, where there was agency, so that way we kind of came back to like the reality of what's going on. I wanted to keep playing with that shifting more. So that's why we went ahead and like split up from when you first interact with the necklace in the dresser. And then he's like, flashback, aha moment, come back out, talk to dude, flashback. Because it felt like it was a little too expedited, and it felt like it was kind of harming the actual like pacing of the game
Right.
by having that all kind of congested into one thing. And that's kind of why I chose to do it the way I did there. And I was also originally worried when in the forest encounter that segment was going to be too long compared to the rest of the game. But at the same time, I just had to take a step back and go, realistically, once you understand what's happening here, how fast are you going to be moving through it? And so I kind of said 5 to 10 minutes or so. I wanted the depression encounter to last about as long as the rest of the game did prior. So I really wanted that to be the back half, and like that final closing act equal out to roughly the same time. So obviously, depending on how many times you get caught by her, that's an entirely different story.
I think we did pretty well.
So that was a big concern, just because I feel like if you kept seeing that game over screen too many times, then at that point you start just becoming more frustrated. But in a way, that's how depression works. The longer you're in it, the more frustrated with yourself you become. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave it alone now, and because each person's gonna get through that differently. So I just kind of wanted to see what path you took as well, because on the right hand side of the map, when you came up through that second gate, that's actually the harder path to go of the two that you could take. And so I was very curious to see how that would go, and I was very curious to see if you got sandwiched between the ashes that spawned or not.
I do love like because you mentioned earlier about how you thought about the forest being like a big open map. I do love that you kind of had to, in order to get past the gate, you have to deal with like a certain memory, as like as it actually is with depression, where you like you want to move forward, sometimes you got to move back. And I really enjoyed that mechanic, because if it was open, I think you're right, like it kind of would have taken away from the pacing and like the tension. But I really like that, like, I got to a locked gate, I need to go find something, and then I can go back to that gate and move forward, and then I still have to do the same thing. And like, I felt it was a really good mechanic for keeping the tension alive, and
you get kind of scared when you approach a gate.
Right.
You're like, is it going to be locked? Is it like, and that's kind of and it kind of does. And that, I think every little thing that you just touched on, Caleb, is also a great like piece of depression, like whether that was intentional or not, which I would like to hear whether it was intentional or not. But like, it kind of is. It's kind of like, is this going to set me back?
Yeah.
Is this progression even open to me right now?
And it's like, if you keep trying the gate, like if you keep trying without doing anything else, like you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Well said.
And to answer your question, honestly, 90% of what is in this game was 100% deliberate.
I love that.
I am a very
great.
meticulous person when it comes to like anything I build. Even like with D&D campaigns, I like to think about every possible outcome that could happen, and I have a plan for each one, including a like almost like randomizer chart that I keep on a separate screen. That is, none of the stuff I planned is happening, let's make something happen now. And then so like I have like random generators over here that I will like roll dice for and see like, okay, cool. Players did this, I respond with this. And
Okay.
so I just have to have everything mapped out, and everything has to have some sort of purpose. Because with me, with when it comes to writing, whether it's developing or like putting together like this here or anything like that, if something is mentioned, it should have meaning.
Mm.
And that is something I still remember from when I was in school, and like my teachers were always being like, "Okay, it's time to submit like your short story." I just remember hearing one in particular always saying, "If you include a detail, make sure to include why that detail is relevant."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to incorporate. And so, a lot of these like things that like you guys are piecing together, a lot of that stuff, I'm like, "Yes, you found the hidden meaning," or like, "Yes, you found
Yeah.
this." And so that's why like there's so many like little things in there, and I kind of wanted to make it to where the more you thought about what's happening in the moment, then the more I guess those metaphors come to light for you. And what's really like crazy to hear is like, honestly, I feel like anyone could play this because it's a very simple game. You don't have to learn very much. Like my niece, one of the people who play tested it, um, she doesn't really game at all. When she sat down to play like the alpha version of this, she went, "I what do I hit? Like what do I do?" And so I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Arrow keys, spacebar. It's all you need to know." And she was able to complete this in like 15 minutes. And so that's when I knew like, okay, cool. So the game's accessible, but then having people be able to look at what's being said, I feel like everyone could tie what just happened to something in their life and also
Mm-hmm.
relate to it as well. So that was another thing I wanted to do was I guess show off a little bit more of the humanity behind characters we play
Yeah.
because it's so easy to get a game like for example Diablo. Like don't get me wrong, I love Diablo,
Mm-hmm.
but I have no emotional connection to my character. And I feel like
Right.
we're seeing that more and more. So I wanted to have someone that at the beginning he's just Grayson. He's a dude. He's got a
Yeah.
suit. He walks. Cool. So,
He's got so many shoes.
So many shoes.
exactly, exactly. And I wanted it to be like as you like move forward in the game, not only do you learn more about who he is,
Mm-hmm.
you see more of his life, and I feel like that's something that we don't get a lot as much in games anymore because we're always worried about like a lot of the AAA's now we see really big flashy things, super in depth like mechanics, super in
Mm-hmm.
depth this, and like the games that perform so well and like any sort of charts are usually the ones that are more impactful with their stories.
Right.
And while yes, you can make a game that's great around a certain mechanic, whether it's like a loot grind or something, I feel like at the end of the day, you still need that player agency, and in order to develop it, your person playing has to feel like they can connect in some way,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a power fantasy or they're going through something that's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I really wanted to make sure to kind of keep in the foreground when going through this. And that's actually what caused so many things in development to, like I said earlier, hit the floor. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like it either didn't do that, or it was just artificially lengthening the story, or the game itself, or the mechanic felt a little too inappropriate for what was actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so to avoid a lot of that, I made those decisions to cut it. And I even included a cover letter when I submitted this going, the game was longer, the game was, flashier and had more of this, but I really wanted to focus on what's here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everything was so bleak. And one thing, I don't know how well you caught it in the forefront of your mind,
Mm.
but as the game was progressing, I was darkening it every single time until we got to acceptance when I flipped it back up to full brightness.
Do you mean every
You
new
son
area?
of a bitch.
Yeah.
You
So
motherfucker.
did the forest have one level of brightness then? And so
Yeah.
and then like each when you leave the room, the bedroom in the very very beginning, you go to the hallway, it's one darker. You
Yep.
go into the storage room, one darker.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's so good.
You're
Because
I
such
just thought it
you're
was
such an
nighttime.
asshole.
so I did that intentionally because it was representative of it's so easy to keep slipping into further darker parts of your mind. So by the time you hit that last part, the biggest transition from the filter was when you leave the stairwell with the hooded figure who
Mm.
disappears to the forest is when I darken it the most, and then the second most, I guess, level of shading happened in the next transition to when you're at the, I'm gonna say, desecrated gravesite first. That's why it seemed like it was like slightly off compared to the others. I wanted to make it feel very uneasy, and I wanted to keep darkening it because whenever you start getting caught in like that depressional spiral, the world gets bleaker and bleaker.
Right.
And so until you hit that moment of I'm not my depression, everything just continues to get darker. And so when you hit that acceptance, that's whenever I duplicated that map and changed the brightness back to normal. And the flash that happens is there to send the player from map A to map B, where I could also change the assets and fix the lighting back to normal again. So I actually kind of hid a lot of that stuff inside of like my animations.
Okay. God,
Amazing.
I love that.
Well,
I'm sorry, can I ask one more question
Yeah.
about the game? Sorry. So I mean, this is like, you know, it could be obvious, but you could have more to say about it. So I kind of just wanted to bring it up. So the hooded figure, I'm so glad you brought him up again.
yeah.
I'm gesturing here because in my mind, this is where he's out on the stairs. So like the hooded figure, right? In my mind, after sort of this discussion, now that we've got such a larger picture of what's going on emotionally in this game, I sort of see the hooded figure as like his wellness, right? Like the part within him, maybe perhaps like, I don't want to say, I mean, this is not in any way the way I want to say this, on a words have meaning level, but like the true Grayson, or like the Grayson he was before he sort of entered this forest of depression and the spiral of grief. Like it almost, because now that we know what we know, I mean, the hooded figure's role is really to push Grayson to force Grayson's hand into sort of getting out of the forest. So how did you intend who is the hooded figure to you, I guess is my question.
I was also wondering that.
So do you really want that answer?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't. Okay, Caleb, you always do this. You are the
Give us the answer.
And you always want to know how magic tricks happen. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I know you. Yeah, I know, and I'm always
Let me know how a magic trick happens. Let me know how you do your sleight of hand, and then I'll be impressed.
It's a point of contention in our friendship.
So, the hooded figure is just a hooded figure.
Oh my god, I hate that answer.
So for them, I pretty much put them there.
Yes.
Just a hooded figure. When I put them there, I wanted something that was just like the embodiment of like a ferryman, something like that. And I didn't know if I was planning to change that, if I was planning to do anything else with it. It was one of those things that I felt was just a really good representation of, okay, how do I get you from here to actually focus on what's happening and like kind of get you to combat like those inner thoughts. And so during the production, they were literally just in my notes literally is hooded figure. That's it. That's all I had. And so I never technically gave them any sort of like name or anything like that. But for me, during development, as time went on, I kind of started thinking, what if that was her? Because it was there to help him, saying, "Hey,
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say."
And
that's a good
so,
point.
To me, even though it's not directly stated, I kind of leave it open to interpretation of whoever this figure you want it to be is who they are. They're a blank slate. But for me, that is Ashton. That is the person who is trying to guide him in the way he needs to go. And then in that last scene when he's there, like just talking out loud to himself, you know, the hood came off, and that is why she's there as a ghost now.
Okay, so in your mind, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. Like that's just kind of how I envisioned it, and like to me, that's where it makes sense because since she was the driving force behind his guilt, he couldn't face her. He couldn't look at her. So why would she have a face?
Right.
So she shrouded to him, hence the hooded figure.
Okay.
So to me, that's what it kind of became.
And it's almost like that would be the actual, like, okay, if we're looking at this like exactly sort of how you described and how it's played out, that would be real Ash, right? Because what we're seeing is his personifications of his own feelings and his and his sort of projection of his own feelings and his need for forgiveness onto his memory of Ash, right? And the ghost that's haunting him. So then if we do get sort of this, because that's what I was going to say when you left, I didn't know if you were going to leave it at like, oh, it's just a hooded figure.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, the hooded figure has motivation, right? The hooded figure is the motivation and has Grayson's best interest. Like, you know, they're mysterious, but they're pushing Grayson towards positive, like something positive. And so I'm thinking now, the more that you say that would be true Ashton. That would be like the actual, like, in this world, Ashton, ghost Ashton, right? More or less. I mean, you can also spin it to be like sort of a product in his mental as well. But okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and like beyond that, Caleb can even tell you, like when I first had this idea, I was like, I'm thinking about putting Death at the top of the stairwells, and he has to bargain with Death. But I felt like
I wondered if it was Death at first too. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yes.
Good point.
And so I thought about doing that, but it felt like too in your face about the idea of bargaining.
On the nose.
So I was like, let's go and dial it back. Let's keep them as a no name, and I'm gonna let this stand for whatever the player thinks it does, because that's where my thoughts go to. I want the player to impart themselves. So who is the catalyst that actually helped him? So this is where I wanted to kind of have like my players to look at it and go, how do I see that part of the story? Who do I think that is? And so I wanted to give them a little bit room to have fun with that, whether it would be like they think the same thing I do of, yeah, that's totally Ashton, or maybe it was just, you know, he made it up. It didn't actually wasn't there, you know, like whatever. So
yeah, I interpret it as Grayson. Even after this, I mean, that's sort of how I landed on it. Like the part of Grayson that wants to be well.
So true, Valeria.
Ironically, that is one of my D&D players. They know exactly how my brain works, and I've sent them like screenshots before of like my notes, and it'll literally just say things like gnome shopkeeper ? And then that gnome is like the funniest gnome to ever exist. Like,
I love it. We do have a few people in the chat who missed the gameplay.
Yeah, Dylan.
if we want to play it again for the people who missed it, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's a good use of our time. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: are you having fun? Are you going to enjoy it? So my thought process is, if it's something you think is fun, do it. I mean, it's not their fault that they were late, Val.
Yeah,
and
the video will be. Our stream will be saved to our YouTube channel, so
yes,
you can always watch it from the beginning if you want. But,
yeah.
Sorry, I was reading Valeria. But anyway, ALUCARD. I just have to say that it's a great game. Thank you for sharing it with us. And is there anywhere that people can find you? Or do you have anything planned for what you're going to do next?
So, now that I'm done with school, I've actually been looking into a lot of game dev stuff beyond what I've already looked at.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of taking a lot of those to heart because I think I do want to keep pushing forward. And that's why I want to tackle Unreal 5 as my next big project.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep broadening those skills. And I'm actually thinking about converting my YouTube channel into actually being a content channel.
Nice.
So I'm thinking about having devlogs there and things like that, maybe doing some streaming with it. That way people can kind of be there, see the behind the scenes, and I can show off my very, very well written notes that make sense to everybody. So, and just kind of go and have fun with it.
Nice.
So I'm kind of thinking about that, and to kind of give you guys, I guess, a little bit more. So you asked about upcoming projects, and let's just say I might have an answer for you where we might be able to do this again next year about this time.
We're in.
Oh my God, sign me up. I'll play anything. I'll play anything you make, man.
Yep.
I'll just send you the files for Spore and say I did it. It's fine.
Thank you.
Also, if you need any play testers, I would also be willing to. Yeah. No, just me. No, Caleb's kicked off the channel, and so he's not going to have any access to. Yeah.
Shoot. All right. Well, see you guys.
Bye. No, we're kidding.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back. But I guess, yeah, that was awesome. Thank you again, ALUCARD, for coming on here and letting us play your game, exclusive first look. I really appreciate it. But Meg, do you have any final thoughts before we end this stream and do another one?
Thank you to everyone who tuned in to see ALUCARD's amazing work. I was so impressed. I went in completely blind. For anyone who's sort of just joined us past the intro. Yeah, I went in completely blind. And that was it was an awesome experience. I completely connect with sort of your style of game making. I hope that's clear. Like, it's not, it's not just like, I'm going to say everything you want to hear. I think I really connect with sort of intentionality behind all of those little things that sort of, because I really think it's in those little things that really tell the complete story, right? The dialogue is the obvious storytelling vehicle, right? And environmental storytelling, like, in its very obvious sense. But then you've got those little things of how game mechanics also like tell the story and how they do and don't support sort of the atmosphere you're trying to create with the game, which, all of it ties back into the actual story you're trying to tell, which was clearly the most important thing for you here. And I'm very looking forward to anything else that you make in the future. There's no pressure on that, but definitely, like, it's literally, it's been like 30 minutes, right? What'd I say?
Yeah.
Get us something new.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for letting us play it for real. I'm sure it takes, and it's, of course, was a passion project for you and something very personal to you. So I'm sure that sort of allowing us, and especially me, who of course you don't really know, to sort of play it, comment on it, ask you all these questions afterwards in a public forum like this is, I'm sure that was, exciting, but I'm sure there was also some apprehension. I'm just very grateful to have been a part of it. So thank you for joining us and for sharing it.
Thank you, ALUCARD. Yeah. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, I really appreciate you guys like even wanting to do it, because I wouldn't have expected to literally have the first thing I ever put together to end up in a way like this.
Yeah.
One thing I just remembered from when you were first playing, you asked what was on the wall, and you had speculations. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that up.
Wait, which thing?
Oh, the wanted poster?
The wanted poster thing.
Yeah, was that a newspaper clipping from the accident?
Exactly. That was 100% the news.
You knew it.
And if you look in the flashback scene, it's not there.
Oh, that's genius.
I did not even catch that.
Just like if you pay attention to some of the curtains during flashbacks, they are open instead of closed to represent the aspect of when she was there was more light in his life.
Yeah.
So,
dang.
Little things I randomly remember just now.
Give it to me right in my veins. I love that shit.
Well,
I love it.
Well, ALUCARD, like I said, we appreciate you coming. Thank you again. We are gonna wrap up this stream though. Everyone, thank you for coming. We are not done for the night though. Meg and I are going to play. We're going to continue our gameplay of Grand Theft Auto right after this.
I have no idea how to shift mental gears.
I know, right?
Go fucking up some crime. Like, gotta see Trevor. Like, I don't even.
Yeah. But
I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but
yeah. But ALUCARD, thanks again, and everyone, we will see you hopefully in the GTA stream. But
yep.
So
just a few minutes.
But okay. Well, everyone, have a good night. If you don't join us,